Alright, so welcome to Revit 2019 Demo 16. We're going to continue off where we left off with Revit 2019 Demo 15. So we're going to open that up. This next lecture is going to be about dimensioning in Revit. So we're going to go to Floor Plan Level 1. And inside of Floor Plan Level 1, we're going to hit Annotate, Dimension. So under Dimension, you'll notice this little drop down. You're going to notice that there's different types of dimensions. So you have linear dimension types, angular dimension types, radial dimension types, diameter dimension types, spot elevation types, spot coordinate types, spot slope types. So under this drop down, there's also a push pin. So you can hit this little push pin and it'll leave that open for you. That's pretty nice because it'll show you different values based on your selections. As you click through these types, you can adjust what these values are. So you can see buttons like aligned, linear, angular, radial, diameter, or arc length. And we will customize a linear dimension type in this exercise. So we're going to go to linear dimension types. We're going to go into the properties, which are inside of the type properties, and we're going to look at the loaded types. So you'll notice that we've got a lot of additional types. Now we do not want to change these existing styles. We only want to edit these. So we'll actually duplicate them. So for this one, we're going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it Brian's. If I can leave caps off, Brian's 3/32 aerial, and we'll delete 2 off. Hit OK. And we are now working on the clone. And this is similar to how we've adjusted and edited wall types, but now we're adjusting dimension types. So we are now working on that clone. You'll notice under the units format is the shaded box. So let's scroll down right here, units format. Use project settings, we're going to uncheck, and we want to round to the nearest 1/4 inch. So we're going to round to the nearest 1/4 inch. And rounding can cause errors, so use temporary dimensions to make sure components are placed to the 1/4 inch, and check to suppress 0 feet. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And then we'll set our centerline pattern. So centerline pattern is going to be a center quarter. And then we want our centerline tick mark diagonal 3/32. So diagonal 3/32. Notice that there isn't, 3/64 is actually what we want, 3/64. Our tick mark will be also changed. So tick mark display, let's just scroll through here. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the right area. Tick mark right here, we want to adjust that to be diagonal 3/64. Dimension line snap distance, we're going to look for dimension line snap distance right here. We want to adjust that to be 1/2 inch. And then our tick mark line weight. So let's find tick mark line weight. We want to be set at a line weight 7. And then our line weight 1. That's good. Text offset 1/32. So we're going to look for text offset 1/32. And we want a width factor of 0.8. Notice text size is 3/32. We'll take that too. So that's good because we're at 3/32 Arial. And notice the font is Arial. So right here, Arial. And we're going to hit apply, which we can't right now. So we'll hit OK. And once that's defined, now you'll notice that those values have all been adjusted. So what we want to do is dimension aligned, and we're going to change the element type here. And we want to change it to Brian's 3/32 aerial. That's the one I just created. And then we're going to use individual references. And we want to go to wall faces, which is what we've been using. We've discussed wall faces, wall center lines, and center of core and faces of core. If you have any questions on these, please come and see me or email me, and I will address them further for you. But wall faces are essentially just wall faces, and then you understand center lines, and then cores you can tab into to select, so dimensioning to stud lines. So we're actually going to use faces of core, and you'll notice that it defaults to selecting those faces of core. and then we're going to dimension that front wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the dimension style on the fly, like we've done, and we're going to dimension from here to the center line of the door, to the center line of the other door, to the exterior of the wall face, and we'll go ahead and place that one here for now. You'll notice that my tick marks are set up, and then I'm going to go through and now dimension the overall from here to here, and you'll notice that that's in place. And then if I dimension an overall of the actual building as a whole, I'll have that down here. And what we can do is we can adjust this value to be at set intervals from each other, and so that gives us that half-inch gap snap when we're placing them. So just understand what's going on there. We have all of that set up. You can change dimension styles on the fly. So this is set up as a center line. It's not showing the center line. So we can label if we need to add parameters to label. But for now, we'll go ahead and leave this as is for now. Faces of core, we've dimensioned that front line. It looks good. We can change those dimension styles if we want. There is an annotation symbol that we could use for center lines, which I don't know if we have loaded right now. We do. And I can place center line labels on each of these because I'm dimensioning to the center lines, and that's how I want you to dimension your home for Mr. Peterson's, is all center lines of windows and doors will have a center line tag associated to it. So that's important to understand. So in this lecture, you've learned how to create a new dimension style, not to mess with the existing or default styles, and how to control the way your dimensions appear on the drawing. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and File, Save As, Project, and we're going to save it as Demo 16. We're going to hit Save, and I'll see you in the next lecture.